The West is heading for a economic crisis. There is going to be a financial collapse in the West, and that is including the UK as well. So, as I was in prayer, the Lord was revealing to me these things that are shortly about to happen, okay? But, Jesus has already told us way before in the Bible that this is going to happen. When you look at Matthew chapter 24, verse 3, it says, while they were sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples approached him privately and said, "Tell us, when will these things happen, and what is the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" Jesus replied, "Watch that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Messiah,' and they will deceive many. You are going to hear of wars and rumors of war. See that you are not alarmed, because these things must take place, but the end is not yet. For nations will rise up against nations, and kingdom against kingdoms. There will be famine and earthquakes in various places. All these events are the beginning of sorrows." Okay, so the Lord has told us this, and He is telling us this for us as believers, as followers of Jesus Christ, to prepare ourselves, to prepare our minds, to prepare our spirits, and to put into action what we can do in these times. Okay, listen, war is going to come, and the result of the war is going to lead to the famine that He is explaining, that He explained to me. And part of that is the economic collapse due to interception, the war. Okay, so in this time, you need to understand, like, it is essential for you to stock up on non-perishable items. Make sure you have, extra baby food, extra nappies, extra food for your pets. If you take medication, that you're getting in extra medication. I mean, if you have extra money, you can always buy over the counter what you need and buy, extra. But if if you have medication that is prescribed by the doctor, then you can always try and keep some medication back, so it's so you have a bit more. If you can do that, then do it. Just make sure you have also a lot of water as well. I mean, I had a letter in the post recently that said that this is from Thames Water. They said, in the event of emergency, we would deliver water to you, but make sure you also have water yourselves, which kind of set me aback, because I thought, well, this is strange. Why would they ever say this? Because they know as well what is happening. Yeah, the CEO, director, whoever at the top, they know what's happening. Okay, they know, they can see what's happening. They know they're in on it, whatever. So they know what's happening. And, we have to make sure, if you are really following the Lord, don't take this lightly, okay? It is for our own benefit that the Lord is telling us these things, to stock up, be prepared, okay? Even make sure, if you can take money out of the bank, take it out of the bank. Just be at the feet of the Lord, always praying and asking Him for directions on what to do. But this is what the Lord is saying now. This is the beginning of the tribulations, okay? The next 7 years, or how many, next 7 years are going to be really, really hard times. The whole world is going to change. So that's what he's saying. Now, I asked him, for more confirmation of what he's saying, to speak to me more. And he directed me to Jeremiah chapter 14. So it says here, this is the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah concerning the drought. Judah mourns, her people are on the ground mourning. Jerusalem cries, rise up. Their nobles send their servants for water. They go to the cisterns. They find no water. Their containers return empty. They are ashamed and humiliated. They cover their heads. The ground is cracked, since no rain has fallen on the land. The farmers are ashamed. They cover their heads. Even the doe in the field gives birth and abandons her fawn, since there is no grass. Wild donkeys stand on the barren heights, panting for air like jackals. Their eyes fail because there are no green plants. So that's two things there. There's no water, and there's going to be no food. Okay, so the result, and this is going to be the result of an economic collapse, an economic crisis. There is going to be famine. There is going to be a lack of food. This is why the Lord is revealing to many of us today that in this time that we have to stock up. In fact, people have been saying this for years. So I don't know. Like I said, I am not really sure how long these things will happen for. But he led me to John 21, verse 5. Now I feel in my spirit that is going to be 7 years where there is going to be like just a lack of food, lack of water, and like a famine. And remember in Matthew, he did say that it's going to happen in various different places. Now, if you are a follower of Jesus Christ and you are not going to take the mark of the beast, then your way of life is going to change, because you're going to be living outside of the perimeters of what normal life is for people who are gladly going to take it. So you'd be thinking to yourself, wow, how am I going to feed myself? How am I going to feed my family? What's going to happen? So there is going to be that need of food and water, because we will not be taking the mark of the beast. So he then led me to John 21:5. I'll start at 4. It says, when daybreak came, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not know it was Jesus. Friends, Jesus called to them, you don't have any fish, do you? No, they answered. Cast the net on the right side of the boat, he told them, and you'll find some. So they did, and they were unable to haul it in because of the large number of fish. The disciples, the one Jesus loved, said to Peter, it is the Lord. So he's basically saying here, I'm going to provide for you. Follow me, do as I say, let me lead and guide you, and I'm going to be the one that's going to provide for you what you need. So we don't really have nothing to worry about, honestly. It's not going to be easy, but if we follow the Lord and we follow the instruction and we'll be obedient to his voice, he's going to lead us. He's going to lead us to where we can look after ourselves and find food. So as people of God, followers of Jesus Christ, we don't have anything to worry about. Okay. He also was saying, he took me he kept showing me the numbers 2008, 2020, 2022. And I went back and I looked up these dates, the major events that happened in these years. And 2008, yeah, was the recession. Yeah, in the UK we had quite a bad recession, and they had to do so many cuts to public services and things like that. It was quite bad. It was quite tough, and we are still living off the tail end of all these cuts and things. And then in 2020, COVID started. The disease came out, yeah. And 2022 was we had many floods all around the world. We had floods in Pakistan, floods in Nigeria. Big floods in Pakistan, and then we had like the war between Russia and Ukraine started. And then 2024, he showed me that's when France had the Olympics, where they publicly mocked Jesus in their opening event. And then 2025, we see more floods in Nigeria, Texas. We see civil war with Sudan and Myanmar, and obviously the war in Gaza. So he was basically explaining to me that in the last 17 years, these things have happened, okay? So what Jesus has been saying has been happening. Remember, he talks about there being diseases. He talks about there being famine. He talks about there being war, nations rising up against nation. And he talks about floods as well in various different places. So in the last 17 years, we have seen these things happening all around the world. So Bible prophecy has been being played out for everyone to see. Not everyone's awake and not everyone's watching, but it's happening. So he's saying that the next 7 years is going to be the same thing. The same thing. So the news in this country, in the UK, we've been speaking about, they've been blasting it all year about World War III, prepare for war, this and that. At the beginning of the year, then near September, June, then near September, and now again last week, all the papers were talking about Britain preparing itself for war. Okay. So now these Masons, they have to tell you what is going to happen before it does. It's part of their satanic code or whatever. They have to tell you. So this is them telling us all the way through the year that we must prepare for war. Britain has to prepare itself for war. Blah, 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 blah. And yet the general public are behaving as if nothing is happening. The general public are burying their heads in the sand, and they don't want to actually realize that they're not just saying this for nothing. They're saying it because they have to tell you. Remember, everything is, they know what's going on. They know it. God is in control, and he's using people to strategically and things like that for his own glory, but they know as well. These people, they know what's in the Bible, so they're acting it out. So yet the general public just believes that everything's all, oh no, it's not going to happen. Oh no, it's not going to happen. Have you seen Jesus? When Jesus speaks, when God speaks, his words cannot return back to him. That's why he's God, because when he speaks on a matter, it will happen. So just as Jesus was saying that these things are going to happen in the end of days, it's happening already. But people today in this country have got their heads so deep into distractions, whether it's playing games on their phones, whether it's watching Netflix, whether it's football, whether it's just so consumed in their daily gossip, their daily life, that they actually are not taking it seriously. The BBC written an article saying how long Britain could really fight for if war broke out tomorrow. And then we had the Chief of Defence Staff for the Air Marshal Knighton. He said that we must send our sons and daughters to go and fight. Then the head of NATO, Rutte, he said Europe must prepare for war, just like the wars in World War One and World War Two. This is the type of war we're going to be seeing. So they're literally telling us. And we have people who are retired as well from the army, and they're coming out and they're saying, yes, we have to prepare for war. Now, although they're saying it is Russia that is the threat, I believe that the threat is within. Okay, but they're using it as a deflection to say it's Russia, whatever, who cares? It's going to happen. This is going to happen. And this is why it's so important that we as believers, we are preparing ourselves, preparing our families, okay? Preparing ourselves, because we don't know, you don't really know where you're going to be when it pops off. So you have to be prepared regardless. Okay, this is people who are thinking, who are watching the world, watching what is happening on the world. But many people are so consumed and so with their own selves and so distracted, or they don't actually want to admit to themselves that this is actually going to take place, that this generation is going to see war, we're going to see famine, we're going to see a lack of water. They don't want to actually believe this. But it's happening. Okay? So war might not be that we literally see soldiers with their boots on British soil. We might not see that straight away. So it might happen like there is an interception, like a cyber attack, okay, which is going to shut down technology. And then obviously then if we have got no technology, your phone hasn't got no signal, you can't move money around, you can't go about your daily business with your phone, okay. That's going to disrupt food distribution as well, because if they cannot, everything's technology run, so that's going to shut down food distribution. That's going to cause glitches with electricity, of course. So that's going to be a food problem. So yeah, this is, our world is very technology run. So if they intercept the technology, that's how it starts. Okay, that's when you're seeing that. Okay, and to be honest with you, I've seen where I live that like Iceland was just like closed for ages, and I was thinking, well, why? What's going on? And in my heart, in my spirit was telling me they've had some interceptions. So this is how it starts. But it won't just be one supermarket now, it'll be the whole of the supermarkets. So therefore, how will you get your food? How will you get your water? How will you get the things that you need? So this is the time now, the Lord is saying, this is the time now to look, to stock up on the things, toiletries, things that you need from day-to-day life, that you need, stock up on it now. If you've been listening to the Lord from years ago, you would have done that. Okay, but it's not too late. You can still start stocking up and then leave the rest to the Lord. Okay, you leave the rest to God. He's the one who's going to ultimately provide for us everything that we need. We just have to trust him. In Psalms 20:18, it says, finalize plans with counsel. Who do we get our counsel from? We get it from the Lord. And wage war with sound advice. So although they're waging war between themselves, we are receiving sound advice from the Lord of what to do. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 5 says, let a wise person listen and increase learning, and let a discerning person obtain guidance. Yeah. So this is the time now. Obtain the guidance from the Lord and act on it. Yeah. He is telling us these things for a reason, so we can act on it and be prepared. Because the last thing you really want is when everything pops off is to be the people running to the supermarkets, trying to grab what they can, running this place, that place, trying to get what they need. Yeah. Well, you would have been prepared because you listened to the Lord, you listened to his guidance and his counsel, and you would have enough food to at least cover you for 3 to 7 days. Yeah. And then you let the Lord just do the rest. Psalms 119 verse 105, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. When you have light, you know where you're going. You know what you're doing. You're not confused. You're not stressed. You know, you can see where the Lord is. You see where the Lord is taking you. And this is what he's saying now. This is the light that he's talking about now. He's trying to shed light on the situation. Okay? Don't be the people that don't listen to counsel, that don't listen to the word of God, and then they get themselves caught up in they're not prepared. Basically, they're not prepared prepared themselves and their household. Because although many people can see the current climate that we're actually in, and who actually do not believe in, they don't have faith in Jesus, but they can see what is going on. All these people that come out in the news and they're talking about what's going to be happening, on the brink of war. Do you think they're just sitting back? And no, they're actually preparing themselves and their households. That's what they're doing. But for the average person here in this country, not thinking about it, just thinking about making it to work on time and think. But you need to prepare. If you hear it and you just hear it and you're like, there's where's the sense in that? It's because, they don't believe it. This generation is so, they're not sensible. They don't take anything serious. So when on hearing this situation, they are just burying their heads in the sand and believing, it's not going to happen. Okay, for you to even make it in at least in these end times, make it with integrity, you're going to really need to be at the feet of the Lord. You're going to have to really be hearing from the Lord, having your discernment, mastered hearing from the Lord. Because it's Isaiah chapter 30:21. It says, and wherever you turn to, the right or to the left, your ears will hear this commandment behind you. This is the way, walk in it. He's going to order your steps. He's going to be guiding you through all this, guiding us all through all this. We have to make sure we have trained our ear to hear from him, and we are fasting, and we are making sure we are praying all the time for constant direction, because there's going to be so much deception as well going on in these times. So making sure that we are really at the feet of Yeshua, hearing his direction, his instruction is going to be vital for us to navigate through these end times. And then Psalms 37, verse 23, a person's steps are established by the Lord, and he takes pleasure in his ways. Though he falls, he will not be overwhelmed, because the Lord supports him with his hand. So there are times when we are going to make mistakes. We're going to misunderstand or misjudge what he said, but he is going to support us. We won't be overwhelmed by it because we know we are being supported by him. He's going to hold us. He's the one who's going to hold us up. Yeah. So whether you find yourself in this country when things start popping off, you will be prepared. But if you find yourself that you're not in this country, maybe you've decided to leave. Maybe one of the people that the Lord is speaking to about moving away into a place of safety, so you don't you're not impacted by all these things that are going to be happening in the West. But at least you would have still stocked up. So whether you're here, whether you're not, it doesn't matter. It's you can still stock up on what you need, just in case you are here. But if you're not, well, at least you made provisions for yourself for the just in case type of thing. So I just hope this is going to reach the people that the Lord wants it to reach, and I pray that the scriptures has encouraged you and to not live in fear. Obviously it's easier said than done, but remember, we have to remember who's holding us. We have to remember who our God is and what he has done in the past for the people, and he will do it for us as well. Remember all the things that he has brought you through. So just know that he's going to bring you through these end times. And yes, we're going to be persecuted for our faith. Yes, we are. We're going to probably have to die for our faith. But so be it, because to die is to gain in Christ.